after Lionel? I think it worries me when Lionel watches fast. It worries me. If you're 100 and your watch is ahead, that worries me. You've already gotten somewhere faster than we have, and that makes me nervous. I'm so glad that you're here. So this Shabbat is called Shabbat Shuva, and do you know why? What? That's very good. I like that. If you set your watch back, then we have you for a longer amount of time. I like that. That's a good idea. Can we set it back about 40, 50 years? That'd be good. I like that. So this Shabbat is called Shabbat Shuva. The Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is always called Shabbat Shuva. Can you guess why? So some people think it's the holiest day of all. And I like that idea. There's I guess we could kind of say we've got the story, the Rosh Hashanah story, the one that says that God opens up the book and all of our deeds are in there, and God puts the good deeds and the bad deeds on here. We've got that story, and whether it's true or not, I will not say, but it's my story and I'm sticking to it. And going along with that story about God judging us, there is the story about how in the month of Elul, in some sense, God is getting closer to us. So how can God possibly be closer to us? Most children, in the children mind of what God is, most children will say things about God being close and saying, well, does that mean if God is in everything, is God in my peanut butter sandwich? And you can't get much closer than that. So how is it possible then that being closer, how does God get closer? And you know, I tell the story about like if there's an IRS agent that you can call all the time, and it's a little bit makes you nervous every time you have to call your agent. But when the agent comes here and sets up an appointment to talk to you, as intimidating as that may feel at first, a lot of times it's way better to talk to the agent face to face than it is to emails and letters and phone calls and things like that. So in some ways, the way we look at God coming during the month of Elul is that God is closer. So if God is closer to us now, in some sense of closer, like we used to call it a local call, but there's no such thing as local calls anymore. You use your cell phone, you can call anywhere, and it costs the same thing now. But if God is right here, then in some ways we could call it the holiest day. We're in the middle of the holiest week in some sense. So that's all. I would give you that. You get bonus points for that one. But why is it called Shabbat Shuva? And you can tell how holy it is because we have a packed house today. You can tell it's the holiest day of the year. So either everybody is already so holy from their Rosh Hashanah experience that I don't know what they're doing tonight, but I'm hoping they're resting on Shabbat because that would be a holy thing to do on Shabbat. But give another reason why it's called Shabbat Shuva. Yeah. So reflection, because the word Shuva means return. And so there's a sense of reflecting, and I think it's true. I think this Shabbat is the one that's in the middle of the days of awe, and awe is certainly a holy thing. So I would say that's a good. Did you have another answer, Grayson? It's the first Shabbat after Rosh Hashanah, so Shabbat Shuva. But that doesn't really, none of you have answered the question about the Shuva one. And I'll tell you, it doesn't surprise me that we're not answering that because, because I'll tell you what the answer is, and then you'll know why we may be less in tune with what the real answer is, and I'm embarrassed to say that. But that is, the Shuva is the first word in the Haftarah reading. And I'm going to be really honest with you. We, as a congregation, have kind of gotten away from reading Torah out loud. And I would almost say kal v'chomer, which is a Talmudic expression that says even more so, we've gotten away from reading Haftarah. We used to, on Shabbat mornings, we would have a service, we would have a minyan, and every time we had a minyan, we would read Haftarah, not Torah, we would read Haftarah every single week. We haven't done that in a very long time. On Shabbat mornings, and some of you come on Shabbat mornings is my favorite time of the week. we sit around the circle. You don't have to dress up fancy, even though it's Shabbat. We sit around in a circle. We all get, usually these days, Debbie brings us some snackage and cookies or something. And we have some coffee. John makes us some coffee in the morning. And we sit around and we learn the blessings for those things, but we talk about the Torah portion of the week. And when 11 o'clock comes around, which is when we're supposed to start our service, we're still talking. And we don't have a minyan of Jews, so we say, let's just keep talking. This is really interesting. And so the idea of the Haftarah kind of, every year at the beginning, right after Simchat Torah, when we start reading from the Torah again, every year for the past 3 or 4 years, we said, you know what, this year, instead of studying Torah, we're going to study Haftarah. And we're going to just learn something about the Haftarah. And we do that for 3 or 4 weeks sometimes. And then we say, you know what? The Haftarah are readings from the prophets. And the prophets just yell at us all the time. We're tired of being told we're being very bad and that, if we don't change our evil ways, we're never going to get any. We're tired of that. We don't like getting yelled at. We're there. We're the good ones. We're the ones who show up at services. We're the ones who are caring. And we don't want to get yelled at anymore. Stop yelling at us. So Shuva is one of those yelling at things. The Shuva is return. It's a command to return. We're supposed to return. We're supposed to go back to the good ways. So I'm going to start off by reminding you that in Jewish tradition, we start off good. And that part of these days of repentance are reminding us how to go back to the good ways. So I want to also clarify that there's a difference between Shuva, which is return, and Teshuvah, which is repentance, which has in it the word returning in it, turning around again. And that's as much as I'm going to say about that for now, because I have something else I want to share with you in a little while. But let us pretend for a moment this is our holiest Shabbat of the year. I want you to be extra conscientious about taking some good deep breaths, letting out all of the mess, but it's only a few days worth of stuff from this year. So take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Try again. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. I am so ready for our first Shabbat of the year. I would like to call upon Sheila, also known as Bubby Lawrence, and John, also known as John Arenstein. And we have to do service 1 tonight. We may do an abbreviated service 1, but we have to do service 1 because it is Shabbat Shuva. And in this prayer book, there are special readings that we say for Shabbat Shuva. There are special ways that we change the prayers, and that's got to happen in this. So the candle lighting is on page, 38. No, yeah, page 38. And I don't know if the microphone got turned on. So let me turn on your microphone. Yes. Oh my goodness. Hold on one sec. It's on, but there's like no battery left in this. Hold on one second. I thought we just changed all the batteries for the new year. Battery. Sorry. Please rise for the candle blessing and the Kiddush, beginning on page 38.
Source of mercy, continue your loving care for us and our loved ones. Give us strength to walk in your presence on the paths of the righteous, loyal to your Torah, steadfast in goodness. Everybody. Keep us far from all shame, grief, and anguish. Fill our homes with peace, light, and joy. O God, fountain of life, by your light shall we see light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chadlik ne'ashel Shabbat.
Amen.
It's not Yom Tov.
Right.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
May we be blessed with Shabbat joy.
Amen.
Amen.
May we be blessed with Shabbat peace.
Amen.
May we be blessed with Shabbat light.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We now turn to pages 167 and 166 for the Kiddush, the sanctification of the day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You call us to holiness with the mitzvah of Shabbat, the sign of your love and reminder of the creative work and of our liberation from Egyptian bondage, our day of days. On this Shabbat especially, we hearken to your call to serve you as a holy people. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of Shabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. L'chaim. You may be seated. Please say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, someone you didn't come in with. It's Blechi. Yeah, one of these days we'll deal with this yucky thing. We're going to continue on page 47. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is good to give thanks to the Eternal One and to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to tell of your love in the morning, your faithfulness in the night, to pluck the strings, to sound the lute, to make the harp vibrate. Your deeds, O God, fill me with gladness. Your work moves me to song. How great are your works, O God! How profound your design. Did you catch the typo on there? Page 47. Did I say page 47? Did you see the typo on page 47? No. Is there a typo in sing? Your work moves me to song. Yeah, maybe to sing. But it's the line underneath that. Look at where it says, "Oh God," that italic. Yeah. It's a zero. It's no, thank you. Those of you who know, it's a zero. It's not. I mean, maybe it wound up squishing when it turned into an italicized version, but I don't think so. Look how big the O is for "Oh God" above there. That distracts me every time I read it. I'm sorry to tell you that. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't like to being distracted by the letters. We continue at the top of 48. The righteous shall flourish like palms, grow tall like cedars in Lebanon. Rooted in the house of their God, they shall be ever fresh and green, proclaiming that God is just, my rock in whom no wrong is found. The Eternal One is enthroned, robed in grandeur. The Eternal One is robed, girded with strength, the one who founded the solid earth to be unmoving. Ageless is your throne, endless your being. The oceans cry out, eternal God. The oceans cry out their thunder. The oceans rage in their fury. But greater than the thunder of the torrents, mightier than the breakers of the sea, is the majesty of God on high. Your law stands firm, and in your temple, O eternal God, holiness abides to the end of time. I'm going to keep singing the cheerful Kaddish melody, and you are welcome to join me. Yitgadal v'yitkadash merabah be'alma divrachi rute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayed chol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'him ru amen almost yehesh merabah mevarach le'alam olme'ah v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitahale v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu la'el Lamin kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'himru imru. Amen. And you forgot to stand up for tushbechata again. It sneaks up on you. The reason why we stand up for tushbechata, by the way, is not because you're obligated to stand up for tushbechata, but we're obligated to stand up for the Baruch Hu when we're being called to worship. And so you stand up before then, because there was that one infamous time long ago at Sinai when we were still snoozing and God was there ready to command us. So from now on, we try to stand up before it's time, and that's why we've had a tradition of doing that. So we're going to do this. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. I face that way because that's east, by the way. And I sing both parts just because I'm the only one mic'd right now. So everybody who's watching it on internet, which is probably 2 people now, we continue at the bottom of page 50. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening. With wisdom, you open heaven's gates, and with understanding, you make the ages pass and the seasons alternate. What day is today? The first day of autumn. Your will controls the stars as they travel through the skies. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You cause day to pass and bring on the night, separating day from night. You command the hosts of heaven. May the living and eternal God rule us always to the end of time. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall. Unending is your love for your people, the house of Israel. Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts have you taught us. Therefore, O God, when we lie down and we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life and the length of our days. Then your love shall never depart from our hearts. We praise you, O God. You love your people Israel. We sing the melody that we will continue to sing for Yom Kippur. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may be seated unless you're from the Mira family and you want to come up and help me lead this V'ahavta. I like it. Melena's coming back. Alexander's coming. Come on, come on. I was hoping that's what would happen. Oh my gosh, look what I got. I got a whole bunch of people. I'm glad I worded it like that. See what I did there? All right. We're, you know where we are? We're on page 52. Climb up. And Margalit, you need some help? Margalit's trying to sneak up on here too. You have enough room? I've got more step stools. We good? No. We're not good? You need another step stool? Okay, you can start. V'ahavta. Ready, go.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha kol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadarim ha'eleh asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך
וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem. Nice job. You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone are God, and there is none else, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign. You deliver us from the hand of oppressors and save us from the fist of tyrants. You do wonders without number, marvels that pass our understanding. You give us our life. By your help we survive all who seek our destruction. You did wonders for us in the land of Egypt, miracles and marvels in the land of Pharaoh. You led your people Israel out, forever to serve you in freedom. When your children witnessed your power, they extolled you and gave you thanks. Willingly they enthroned you, and full of joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang this song. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele. In their escape from the sea, your children saw your sovereign might displayed. This is my God, they cried. The Eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. Grant that we may lie down in peace, Eternal God, and raise us up, O Sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war and famine and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. O guard our coming and our going, that now and always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. And I think later we're going to have a talk about what that evil inclination is. We're not so convinced about it. We just read about it, remember? Did you see it? Subdue our inclination to evil. Anybody feel like they're subduing their inclination to evil this day? Today? Any day? You have this evil inclination that you feel you have to subdue? Anybody here? No, that's because you're here. It's the ones that, no, I'm just kidding. We don't feel like we have that, so it's part of who, there's a tradition to it. We'll talk about it one day. But it's not us, that's all I'm saying. We're the good guys. The bottom of 55. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat lidorotam berit olam beini uven b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam oti le'olam Vishameru v'nei לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please for eyes for the tefillah, which begins on page 56, and remember, as we're continuing, to make sure I do not forget where it says Shabbat Shuva add, that's what we have to add. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Eternal is your might, O God. All life is your gift. Great is your power to save. With love, you sustain the living. With great compassion, give life to all. You send help to the falling and healing to the sick. You bring freedom to the captive and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, mighty one, author of life and death, source of salvation? Who is like you, source of mercy? In compassion, you sustain the life of your children. We praise you, O God, the source of life. You are Kadosh, your name is Kadosh, and those who strive to be Kedoshim declare your glory day by day. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh. We do that instead. We say, we praise you, Eternal One. You rule in holiness. And now you may be seated. Sometimes it's an insertion and sometimes it's an instead of. You set the seventh day apart for your service. It is the goal of creation, more blessed than other days, more sacred than other times. And so we read together this translation from the story of creation. Now the whole universe, sky, earth, and all their array was completed. With the seventh day, God ended the work of creation, resting on the seventh day with all of God's work completed. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, this day having completed God's part of the work of creation. Our God, God of our fathers and our mothers, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. Satisfy us with your goodness. Sanctify us with your salvation and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal God, let your holy Sabbath remain our heritage, that all Israel, hallowing your name, may find rest and peace. We praise you, O God, for the Sabbath and its holiness. Be gracious, eternal God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst and in the midst of our people in Zion. We praise you, O God, whose presence gives life to Zion and all Israel. All right, we have teeny tiny letters here, but it says on Rosh Chodesh and Chol HaMoed. Are we Rosh Chodesh or Chol HaMoed? No. Rosh Chodesh means the beginning of the month, but Rosh Hashanah was the beginning of the month. Chol HaMoed means intermediate days of a holiday. And even though we're in the days of awe, those are not intermediate days. That would be like the middle days of Sukkot or the middle days of Passover. So we get to continue at the bottom of 61. And we're going to have an insertion here. We gratefully acknowledge that you are our God and the God of our people, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank you and sing your praises for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. You are goodness, your mercies never end. You are compassion, your love will never fail. You have always been our hope. For all these things, O sovereign God, let your name be forever exalted and blessed. Let life abundant be the heritage of all the children of your covenant. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Eternal God, whose nature is goodness, we give you thanks and praise. All right, we have more little letters. Is it Hanukkah? No. It's Shabbat Shuva, and it's not in that part. So we're going to read on page 63 in English. We read together. O sovereign source of peace, let Israel, your people, know enduring peace. For it is good in your sight to bless Israel and all peoples continually with your peace. We praise you, inscribe us in the book of life, blessing and peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace, almost. We take a moment now of silent prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, be acceptable to you. God, my rock and my redeemer. God, my rock and redeemer. Anybody hit those notes with me? Nope. I got to start them higher, don't I? Redeemer. Could you tell I was a bass player in high school? I was a bass player. I always hit those low, not because I could sing the bass part. Not because I could sing them, just because that's what I hear in my head are the bass lines. At this time in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating. We turn to the inside back cover of our prayer books. And I'm going to invite you to call out anyone for whom you would like us to be saying prayers. Prayers for healing. We read together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. We add, Mishaberach Avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us. In this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve, may they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. Okay, so what does Shuva mean? Who remembers? Good, return. And Teshuvah has to do with returning. You know this, that in our tradition, repentance starts off with the fact that we are already good, we make bad choices, and we have to turn them back around and make good choices again. And you know that the word, this is just an aside, we do this with the kids, the word in Hebrew for sin is chet. And chet, sin, doesn't mean evil or evil inclination-y things. And I'd make the kids on Sunday do this, especially the little kids. I ask them now if they brought their bow and arrow with them. Did you bring your bow and arrow with you? Did anybody bring your bow and arrow with you? Margaret, did you remember your bow and arrow? And I asked them to stand up, and we look for that point over there that's between the lines. There's a little spot over there, and the kids stand up, and they aim their bow, which is an invisible bow and arrow, by the way. Must be Wonder Woman's, I think. Just kidding. And then you aim, and I ask how many people hit the spot exactly, and we look, and we see some of them did, and some of them did, and some of them didn't, and mine got close. I got closer this time than I did last time, and sometimes it's close and sometimes it's far, but the word chet means missing the mark. It means that in life, we are commanded to make choices, and we often make very good choices, and sometimes we make very bad choices, and sometimes we try really hard to make a good choice, and it messes up. I gave a really good example the other day with the kids when I pointed out that I got very enthusiastic. I may have told you this. I got very enthusiastic before the eclipse. The day before the eclipse, I said, it's the coolest thing you will see because in the middle of the day, it's going to be dark. It's going to feel like night. And I just got really enthusiastic. I kept talking about how cool this is going to be. And guess what? It didn't feel like it was night at all. I mean, if you had the cool glasses, then you saw that there was almost nothing of the sun left. But it didn't feel at all like night. And so the next day, I came in like, that Sunday, I said, I feel terrible. Last time that I went through a solar eclipse that I remember when I was a kid, and we looked at it through these pinhole boxes, or some people had glasses, it was like night in the middle of the day. And I thought that's what was going to happen again. So I tried. I did what I thought was a good thing, but I missed the mark. And now I have to apologize because I said something to you and it wasn't true, but I thought that it was going to be true. And that was an example of what it meant to miss the mark. So this is what I think. You have seen my Teshuvah cartoon. My favorite cartoon was the one of there's a guy walking around with a placard that says repent, and he's going in the opposite direction, and they're facing each other. There's a robot that's got the placard that says reboot, and I think rebooting is a good example of what you're supposed to do during this time. You're supposed to start from scratch again. You're supposed to apologize, have finished apologizing to every person and to God. You're supposed to get all of that out of your system during this period if it hasn't already happened. And that means you now start with a new clean slate. It's like rebooting. It's able to start all over again, clean slate, brand new white pages on your notebook, clean slate. But you have to repent. You have to come back to the good, cleaned up, scrubbed up kind of version of you. And so I had this crazy thought that it's a lot like, have you seen those T-shirts that talk about something like, I went to the school of the hokey pokey, where you turn yourself about, something like that. I think the hokey pokey is a good way of describing what we're going through. Anybody remember the hokey pokey? So I'm going to suggest that it's not about putting your arms and your legs in. I think you have to put your whole self in, right? And then sometimes you take your whole self out, but then you have to put your whole self in. And then, I don't know where the shake it all about comes from, but it could be, I know Lulav is coming up, but it could be, you're praying really hard. I don't know. But you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey. You have to turn yourself around. And now you're back. That's what it's all about. That's Shabbat Shuva. I'm just saying, it worked. But you have to put your whole self into this. You can't, thank you. I like when Tammy's here. She laughs at all my jokes. She may be laughing at me, I don't know, but I love when she laughs. But I just realized that that's what it's all about. It's about putting your whole self into this. It is why sometimes we wear all white. Now, everybody in our congregation doesn't wear all white. It's okay if you don't. But, I kind of get into this. And I wear all white. I put my whole self into this. And I try to turn myself about. I try to start with a clean slate every year. I try. So sometime during this week, I will apologize for this sermon, and we'll start all over with a clean slate. We'll start all over. I'm going to apologize that we don't have a president here, so I will tell you what you need to know. I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom, y'all. And thank you to Sheila and John for leading us in the candle blessing and the Kiddush. And on behalf of myself and the B'nai Zion board, I want to wish you Allah l'shana tova tekatevu. May this year bring health and other good things for you and your families. This year, for all Yom Kippur services, all of the Yom Kippur services, Spencer Reichman is supposed to be here. Did you enjoy when Spencer was here? I joked with somebody the other day that every time he would sing, I felt like you're supposed to hear scratching of like when the phonograph, when the record was playing, because he felt like, Al Jolson jazz singer kind of thing to me. It was beautiful, it was wonderful. And it's posted on YouTube already, but come here for the Yom Kippur services, get it in person. The evening service, which will be next Shabbat evening, Friday evening at 7:30, not at 6 o'clock, at 7:30 is the service for Kol Nidre. I'm going to give you a heads up here. We do not have a cello. We have another different kind of treat for you, plus Spencer is going to be chanting the Kol Nidre for us. So we have that next Friday night, and the choir will be here. And we will not be in this room. We will be in the Lefkowitz Hall for the Friday night service. And then Saturday morning at 10, all of the services will be in here. We're thinking about the possibility next year of having all the services in here. And if we have overflow, let it overflow to that room. But we're thinking about that. Do the opposite of what you used to do here. Red River Radio is still having special programs. I don't know if you've caught any of them. Some of them were wonderful, and some of them were... we listened to something else. As you know, October 8th from 9 to 12:30, we're having a blood drive. If you are eligible to give blood, please let us know as soon as possible, because they like to schedule specific appointments. And I'm told that not everybody who comes qualifies on that day. Sometimes you've had a cold or something like that. I don't know what. But please contact the office. Please make sure that the Shifty knows what you're going to do. We need everybody to help for the conclave. If you can house kids, that's great. If not, we have to stuff bags with goodies. We have to feed them and transport them, and it's okay. You can transport them some days and not other days, but we need your help. Donations were made to B'nai Zion for pulpit flowers in loving memory of Harriet Gruber Goldberg, by Mel, Jackie, Colin, Scott, and Eric Gold. In loving memory of Frida K. Hyman, by Dorothy and Bernard Lobel. And in loving memory of Harry Dibner by Gloria Rosen. Am I missing anyone? Because you said you had. We good? Okay. It is a very confusing week at the office, so forgive us for if we've missed things. Some people still hadn't finalized their memorial book things. We will be printing them this week, so I shouldn't say this out loud, but if you didn't finalize your memorial book stuff, please make sure it happens this week, because as soon as possible. I am now going to call upon anyone under the age of, you want to come up? You want to come up? Anyone under the age of 20 is welcome to come up and help me open the ark. The rest of us are turning to page 148, and I'm going to do a regular Aleinu, not a grand Aleinu. Aleinu L'Shah. I'm not doing that one. I'm doing a regular one. Page 148, when the ark is open, please rise. What? I know. Look at you guys. This is so cool. Keep opening. We want to open the little one. Marguerite, where'd she go? You don't want to do it? Okay, good. Then you don't have to open the little one. We're good. Look, those are white Torah scrolls. I love it when they're white Torah scrolls. Yeah, they're all dressed up for us. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. And on the facing page we're going to sing ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד Ushimo echad. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. Yeah, a little dangerous walking backwards here, huh? Did you see that there's a shofar hiding in the ark?
Yep, I saw it.
Did it just fall down?
It didn't fall down.
It did?
Fall down.
It didn't or did?
It did.
It did? Okay, good. It's just trying to get our attention. It's okay. You can't hurt that shofar, trust me. He's fine. You may be seated. The shofar fell down. It was hiding, and it wanted attention. But it's not coming out tonight. You're going to have to wait until the end of Yom Kippur to come out again. So I'm going to tell you the secret. That song, Bayom Hahu, the farmer in the dell, just saying. We now come to the part of the service that is the hardest to do, where we remember those who have died. And in our world right now, we are touched by so many casualties. I lose words to try to figure out how to say what I want to say about how I feel like we are connected in this world, and we feel these losses. I walk outside and I look at a sunny day and I say, how can that be? It almost feels like and I don't mean to belittle this, but it feels like a post-traumatic stress disorder kind of a thing, that you feel like it's happened and it can happen again, and every time you walk outside, if you hear it's going to rain, you say, no, not rain. And then you realize that sometimes rain can be rain. But it's, we have lost a lot of people in the past just 2 weeks from hurricanes and fires and earthquakes and floods. And our prayers go to everyone who has suffered losses. Puerto Rico will not have power for months, they said. And that means, you're hearing the news, and I don't have to repeat it. It's horrific. And our hearts are with everyone who has losses. And I also want to don't want to. I'm sad to remind you that we're towards the end of September. We have had 23 military losses this year. We have had 6 firefighter losses this year. That does not seem right. 69 was last week. I think something must have gotten erased off of mine, off of our list. And 94 police officers in the line of duty this year. And our hearts hurt. So we remember that as a movement. The Reform movement has always remembered those who perished in the Holocaust and had no one left to remember them. And I say those things before this because there's a tradition that before someone is buried, we do not say Kaddish for them. And I don't know how many of the people who have perished have been buried already. We continue on page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And instead of using these words, I'm going to invite us to take a moment of silence. Remember those who we loved, who we've lost, whose anniversary is this week, and those whose lives have been lost through the tragedies that have occurred to our world this past few weeks. We take a moment of silence. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us recently. We remember Steve Muslow. We remember these parents of congregants who died the past year. We remember Kurt Strauss and Shirley Seligman. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzites this week include Janet Lorraine Abrams, Abraham Atkins, Henrietta Clark, Harry Dibner, Elizabeth L. Fox, Harriet Gruber Goldberg, Brana Harris, Carol Hertzberg Perlman, and Frida K. Hyman. And we are missing all of these other names. I feel like I'm on the wrong names. No, I'm going to read this list again because we're missing names. I'm sorry. Janet Lorraine Abrams, Abraham Atkins, Henrietta Clark, Harry Dibner, Elizabeth Fox, Harriet Gruber Goldberg, Brana Harris, Carol Hertzberg Perlman, Mrs. Frida K. Hyman, Mose Kaufman, Sam S. Kleban, Herman Loeb, Alice Meyer, Hyman Neerman, Houston Oglethorpe, Robert Rosenfield, Betty Weiner. Did I miss any names now? Feels like parts of our list are missing, so I apologize for that. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shmei dekudsha richu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. You may be seated. And while I ask those under 13 or 14 or ish to come, you want to come up again? Yeah, come on up. Anyone under 20, come up. And while they're coming up, we're going to sing L'shana tova tikatevu, L'shana tova tikatevu. A happy new year, happy new year to you. All right, I'm going to step out of the way. So, oh, look what happened. It's a round one. Hold on, we'll show it off. Ready? Who made it? Who do you think made it? It's a Bethany Sorky special. Ready? Look, it's round. It's adorable. It looks delicious. It is. Ready? So wait, I get your microphone. Are you ready? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for
bread. Our voices rise and song together
as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. I take this and you take that. I got this. You take the bread. Sharing. Somehow those round ones seem to have more challah in them. I don't know how that happens. So, Shuva, return. Thank you for returning to services. Thank you for being here as part of this congregation. I hope to see you next week for Yom Kippur. Please rise for the closing benediction. There's more challah out there for all the grown-ups too, by the way. No? That's it. You don't have any more. No more challah for you. But everybody else is entitled to challah. Just saying. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you. Be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be lifted up to you. And may God grant you peace and sweetness for this new year. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Happy New Year. L'shana tova tikatevu.